Welcome to CX in the Wild Season 3. Let's catch up with Dennis on Safari now.
All right, so tell the audience who you are and what you do.
I am Raluca Monet. I lead our contact center and communication partnerships for Chrome OS at Google.
Wow. I'm so grateful that I saw you at the breakfast this morning, because I was surprised to have Google Chrome here. Mm-hmm. But then when we did a little filming in the booth, it made so much more sense. Can you just explain to the audience why you're at a show like this, and just tell us about the whole program.
Yeah, happy to. So one of sort of the outcomes of the pandemic for us was that it illuminated how good of a product fit Chrome OS is for contact center and BPO. So if you think about it, a few years ago when sort of the early signs of the pandemic started, all of a sudden everybody had to figure out almost overnight what to do about having agents still productive, but now distributed all over, right? People did not want to come in, and many offices and, contact center were shut down. So because of that, we started seeing a lot of pull of Chrome OS into agents use cases. So it was more of a pull than push. We just started seeing success in the space. We would have customers who would reach out to us, get, trying to find out how quickly can we deploy Chrome OS, and almost within overnight, 2-3 days, we would have these agents productive, working remotely in a very secure, reliable, productive way. So when we started seeing this success rate, we then started investing in contact center much more deliberately. So what we did is we created a program called Chrome Enterprise Recommended for contact center. What we do there is we take leading contact center solutions, we put them through a lot of testing rigor, and then we certify them. So you take great companies like NICE and Dialpad and RingCentral and others. We put them through all this, good testing. We make sure that they work beautifully on Chrome OS to give the customers that full peace of mind that whatever contact center solution they've invested in works beautifully on Chrome OS. We do the same with hardware and peripherals, because we want to make sure that the headsets and docking station, all of that works also beautifully with our OS. But then sort of once we did that, a year later, we started thinking about different things we can build into the OS to make it easier for agents to work. So we actually created what we call some connectors that enable agents to do things much faster, much more efficiently, and save them time. So now we're able to save agents 20%, if not more, 3 hours per week in, the way they handle tasks by things we've built into the OS. So that is really exciting for an IT administrator, because they can get so much more value out of an agent. Of course, the security piece is huge. We have so many contact center who unfortunately have come to Chrome OS because they experienced, a bad incident, right? They got ransomware attacks. Something happened. And sadly, we did get many customers come to us that way. We are the only platform who has never experienced a ransomware attack, ever.
So I need to jump in here. Your name is?
Raluca.
Raluca. Yeah. So Raluca, what I think I heard you say, and I just want to clarify, because so many of these, I've talked to so many businesses who deploy things during and throughout COVID to rapidly distribute customer care. And I think every one of those was a software solution that maybe was an extension of their existing on-premise solution that they extended out. But I haven't talked to anyone who had the hardware. And where I saw this is something similar happen is my kids go to school. And so in our neighborhood, they distributed Chromebooks to the school. But is this the same kind of thing, but for customer care?
Yes.
And it's secure. And it sounded like what you said was you upgraded the Chrome OS software to be more aligned to this customer care job function on these particular books, and pointing at things like security and other things. But really, so just to simplify,
you nailed it. And if you think about it, and I mean this in the best way, there's many similarities between EDU and agents and contact center, right? You have students changing every year, right? So you need to have that Chromebook be easily deprovisioned from one person to the next.
Yeah.
You don't have huge IT budgets. You don't have big teams working to maintain IT, which is like a school. So you want that as most cost effective as you can. Think about students. If there's a high risk population of somebody clicking on the wrong thing and doing something to actually expose the device and the data to vulnerability is kids. Well, that's why we started making this really, so secure that nothing can actually expose that to vulnerabilities. Highly valuable to an agent as well because they deal with so much private data, right? So all the value that we created in EDU is directly applicable to contact center.
That makes so much more sense. Now, I work in markets all over the world for customer care. One of the emerging markets is Africa for call center agents. They have a booming industry there. Is this a situation where it's easy to deploy 500 Chromebooks in another market like that? Is that the use case that you're working on, or is there a different one?
That's a great question. I mean, it is easy. So from a software deployment perspective, is as easy as you think it is. Now, supply chain can always play a factor.
Okay.
Is there hardware available? Yeah. We work with hardware partners, right? So Google makes some hardware, but by and large, it's more about showing the capabilities of the OS. We're not truly in the hardware business.
I see.
So we work with companies like Lenovo and HP and Acer, ASUS, and others. And depending on their availability, which is great most of the time, right? With some times when there's issues, challenges, that could be maybe something that may come into play, the actual device itself. But from a software perspective, you can you can deploy Chrome OS and customize it and make exactly what you want it to do from the other side of the world. You don't have to be in the same geography. You can push the same policies.
So and let's just use the Africa example, if they already have 500 computers, you can deploy your solution on top of the existing hardware.
I'm so glad you say that. So here's the best part of this. So you are not limited to just Chromebooks or Chrome boxes. Let's say you are a company, a BPO or an enterprise who has a mix of devices. So you may have Windows machines, you may have MacBooks, you may have some Chromebooks. You can actually flash the Windows machine to make it a Chrome OS device. So that makes your device now get all the security and all the features and reliability of Chrome OS without having to get rid of your devices that you may have invested a few years ago. So you flash them, you put the latest Chrome version on it, boom, you're ready to go, which is actually really great for the planet too, because a lot of times companies would get rid of these devices. IT contributes to e-waste in a very significant way. So what we want to do is actually extend the life of these devices by putting the best, OS on them for contact center. And then they get years of value out of these devices, when they could have just easily have ended up in landfill.
Wow. So if there are companies out there who want to learn more about your solution, where do they go?
They can come to me. I have no problem sharing my email is Monet, like the painter, @google.com. We have a site called Chrome Enterprise Recommended. If anybody types Chrome Enterprise Recommended Chrome OS Contact Center, it will show the partners that we work with, what the solution is all about. So there's always plenty of sources. You'll find us at events like Enterprise Connect, like the ones that were today, Infocom, etc. So come check us out.
Well, thank you so much. I know you have to jump on a plane, but I'm glad we took this time because it's such a unique solution for a show like this. So thank you so much for being here.
A pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for coming on this adventure. To catch up with Dennis for CX news and industry events, visit www.denniswakabayashi.com.